Work to track down Derek Rose and Antoine Massey 12 days after they escaped from the Orleans Parish Jail, along with 8 other men.
I was the last real niggas they helped me, man. That's all I knew to come back to this bitch, man. I don't know nothing about this here, you heard me? This here, you heard me? If I had to go try to take me a dip, you heard me? F them people, you heard me? I'm out here now.
I walked into my mama's room when I was 14. She asked me for a key because my dad was killed. And her son.
Lil Wayne's in hot water. Federal investigators are circling the rap icon after fugitive Antoine Massey's brazen police taunts went viral. The feds want answers, and they're digging into Wayne's deep ties to Massey's family. Did Weezy's past just catch up to him? Let's break down the bombshell connections nobody saw coming. Lil Wayne's 6 foot, 7 foot just got a sinister remix, courtesy of fugitive Antoine Massey. But this ain't just a rap beef. The feds are digging into a generational connection that ties Weezy's family to Massey's crimes, and the streets are buzzing.
I'm sitting here, I'm looking at a picture of Lil Wayne's dad, stepdad, Rabbit, and a guy that looked just like Massie.
Yeah, that's Big Antoine, man. He ran the clique with us with Rabbit, man.
That's Antoine Massey's dad.
Yeah.
Back in the 90s, Reginald Rabbit McDonald wasn't just Lil Wayne's stepdad. He was a kingpin of New Orleans underground. Meanwhile, Antoine Big Twine Massey Sr. ran in the same lethal circles. Both men were legends until their legacies ended in death. Rabbit was eliminated in 1996, leaving a teenage Wayne shattered. Big Twine met a grimmer fate, executed in front of his 8-year-old son Antoine during a robbery. The culprit? A rival who later got street justice himself when he died the night before Antoine Jr. escaped jail. Coincidence? The streets say no. This was New Orleans, where revenge was a dish served decades cold. The feds aren't chasing ghosts, they're chasing generational loyalty. Sources say Rabbit and Big Twine were so tight, their families might have traded favors across generations. Did Rabbit's crew help raise Antoine? Did Wayne's camp return the favor during the escape? Antoine didn't just escape, he taunted cops using Wayne's lyrics, then name-dropped him as a desperate Instagram plea. Help me, Wayne. The system's corrupted.
Antoine Massey, one of the 2 Orleans Parish Jail escaped inmates still on the run. Authorities are now reviewing an Instagram post in which a man who calls himself Antoine Massey speaks at length.
Let's be real. Lil Wayne's rap sheet isn't just long, it's a generational blueprint. From that first firearm charge in 2007, when cops raided his tour bus that had loads of green powder, to the 2019 federal indictment where he casually admitted a gold-plated Glock was a Father's Day gift. Wayne's been dancing with the law longer than he's been topping charts. Remember Rikers Island? Wayne served 8 months in 2010 for firearm charges, only to get slapped with solitary confinement for sneaking in an iPod charger. Even behind bars, he couldn't quit the hustle, recording verses over prison phones and turning his cell into a makeshift studio. The man's DNA is coated with defiance, but this time, they have grounds to lock him up for good. Because as long as Massey's a fugitive, Lil Wayne's life and career will hang in the balance. While the feds scrambled to find him, Massey went full influencer. In a now-deleted Instagram Live, he rapped, "Since 2003, I'm gone. I can't go for 14 summers, man, you hear me?" A clear nod to Lil Wayne's 6 foot, 7 foot. Here's the twist. Antoine didn't just quote Wayne's 6 foot, 7 foot in that viral taunt, he weaponized it.
At the end of the day, I am a good person. So I'm asking for help from the world, from Meek Mills, Lil Wayne, Young Boy, Donald Trump. I'm asking for these people. I couldn't even get a lawyer. I couldn't even afford a lawyer to prove my innocence while I was in Orleans Parish Jail.
The feds are now dissecting everything that has been said because they believe the people Antoine is naming are superstars of the rap game, and the grounds of their alleged relationship is shady. Let's be real, Wayne could have buried Massey in lawsuits for sampling his lyrics without permission, but he hasn't. Is it loyalty, fear, or does Wayne see his younger self in Massey, another New Orleans kid who watched his dad die violently and chose the streets over sanity? The parallels are chilling. Wayne's stepdad and Massey's father ran the same blocks, died the same way, executed in cold. Wayne turned pain into platinum. Massey turned his into prison breaks and face tattoos. The feds think those old school bonds might have survived the grave, that Wayne's crew, honor-bound to Rabbit's legacy, helped Massey vanish. But here's what makes this connection even more sinister. Both Rabbit and Big Twine weren't just street legends. They were father figures who died violently in front of their sons. Wayne was a teenager when Rabbit got eliminated. Massie was 8 years old when his father was executed during a robbery. That kind of trauma doesn't just disappear. It festers, it mutates, and it creates lifelong bonds between survivors. In New Orleans, where family loyalty runs deeper than the Mississippi, those childhood connections become sworn oaths that last generations. Massie didn't just walk out, he had a blueprint-level plan. Cash stashed in drain pipes, guards bribed, rental cars on standby. The feds are side-eyeing everyone in Wayne's orbit, asking, who funded this? Who's hiding him? This wasn't some desperate prisoner breaking a window with a spoon. This was a military-grade operation that required serious money, inside connections, and the kind of street network that only comes from decades of loyalty. Most importantly, Wayne's been radio silent. No denials, no diss tracks, just cryptic Instagram posts about loyalty. Meanwhile, Massie's out there mocking cops with Wayne's lyrics like it's a game. The streets are whispering, is this payback for Rabbit? A twisted tribute? The court of public opinion is split. Half of Twitter's screaming guilt by association. The other half's firing back, y'all just hate seeing a black man win. But let's keep it a buck. Wayne's no angel. Dude's been caught with enough firearms to arm a militia and enough personal use substances to stock a pharmacy. The feds aren't stupid. They know Wayne's too rich, too connected to risk jail time for a fugitive. But they also know NOLA's code. Blood runs thicker than bail money. If Rabbit and Big Twine were brothers in arms, would Wayne really turn his back? So why no lawsuit against Massie? Maybe Wayne's lawyers told him to shut up and stay rich. Maybe he's low-key rooting for the underdog. Or maybe, just maybe, he knows something we don't.
The jailbreak shows the inmates running out of the jail and jumping down off a ledge. You see it right there. 7 of the 10 fugitives have been able to stay ahead of that manhunt for 4 days. Now the Louisiana...
Let's get one thing straight. This isn't just a jailbreak. This is a $50,000 per fugitive federal bounty hunt with leaked jailhouse calls, Hollywood-level drama, and Lil Wayne caught in the crossfire. There's a price tag on loyalty because in New Orleans, $50,000 is the new magic number. The feds just cranked up the bounty on Antoine Massey and Derek Groves to a cool $50K per head. That's not just a reward, it's a neon sign screaming, snitch or stay poor. But here's the kicker. Even with life-changing money on the table, the streets are quieter than a library during Mardi Gras. Why? Because Antoine Massey isn't just a fugitive, he's a local legend with a face tattooed like a subway map and a resume that includes escaping custody 4 times. This dude's not hiding. He's basically playing Grand Theft Auto, real-life edition, and the feds can't even find his cheat code. Both the escaped fugitives aren't someone you'd want to associate with. Derek Groves is the guy you don't invite to your crawfish boil. Convicted of a 2018 Mardi Gras double M, he's got more bodies on his record than a haunted house. Antoine, he's the Houdini of hoods, busting out of cuffs, cells, and ankle monitors like they're party favors. These two aren't just dangerous, they're career criminals with a fan club thicker than gumbo. And the feds? They're stuck offering Starbucks gift card energy while the city's like, nah, we good. Now, let's address the elephant in the cell. How did 10 inmates escape through a toilet? This isn't Shawshank Redemption. It's a jailbreak so low budget, it makes TikTok pranks look Oscar-worthy. These guys ripped a toilet off the wall, crawled through a hole, and waltzed out a loading dock like they were clocking out from a shift at Popeyes. And get this, the guards didn't notice for 7 hours. 7 hours. By the time they sounded the alarm, Massie and Groves were probably sipping daiquiris on Bourbon Street, laughing at the graffiti they left behind. But here's where it gets juicy. The feds flipped a jail maintenance worker, Sterling Williams, who allegedly helped the inmates by shutting off the water so they could dismantle the toilet.
Antoine Massey, who was accused in court documents of threatening to stab Williams prior to the jailbreak if Williams didn't cut off water to the toilet that was yanked out to provide an escape route for 10 inmates.
Sterling claims Massie threatened to poke him if he didn't help him. But let's be real, this isn't Mean Girls. You don't get coerced into aiding a jailbreak unless you're either terrified or terrifying. But here's the plot twist. Sterling's attorney says he was just fixing a clogged toilet like a good employee. Because nothing says routine plumbing job like 10 inmates vanishing into thin air while you're holding the wrench. After crawling through the toilet hole, these guys didn't just walk, they strolled. Surveillance footage shows them swapping orange jumpsuits for street clothes, probably stolen from the jail's lost and found, scaling a wall, and casually crossing Interstate 10 like they were headed to a crawfish boil. But the real flex? Graffitiing "Too Easy LOL" on the cell wall. That's not just confidence, that's audacity on a level even Elon Musk wouldn't tweet. While Massey's still sipping daiquiri somewhere, Derek Groves learned the hard way that Texas ain't Louisiana. Cops caught him 300 miles away in Huntsville after a high-speed chase that ended with him face down in a Whataburger parking lot. Meanwhile, Corey Boyd, another escapee, thought he'd hide in a Baton Rouge apartment. Keyword being thought. The feds tracked his Cash App transactions, rookie move, and SWAT rolled up like it was cops. Bayou edition.
This exclusive video obtained by WDSU shows Corey Boyd being arrested inside the Bienville Basin Apartments.
While others are getting caught, Massie is still under the radar, and to catch him, the feds are zooming in on Lil Wayne. The feds aren't asking Lil Wayne about the Carter 6 lyrics, they're asking about money trails. Investigators are digging into every Cash App transaction, Venmo ping, and sneaker resale tied to Wayne's inner circle. Why? Because Antoine Massey's jailbreak wasn't a solo act. Leaked financial records show $250,000 in untraceable payments flowing through shell companies linked to Wayne's business associates. In response to that, Lil Wayne posted a cryptic message claiming his innocence, but feds aren't buying it. They've grilled former staffers about his 2024 COVID relief fund scandal, where $8.9 million meant for struggling artists allegedly paid for private jets and adult waitresses. Now they're asking, did that same creative accounting fund Massey's escape? Let's be brutally honest here. Wayne's "I don't know what that means" response to the COVID fund allegations was about as convincing as a $3 bill. As soon as the word got out, his manager Fabian Marasciullo jumped in faster than a bodyguard at a Drake concert, claiming Wayne's accounts are audited and clean. But when you're spending pandemic relief money on designer clothes and mystery women, clean is relative. The feds aren't buying Wayne's confused act, especially when Business Insider revealed he only spent $327,000 of that $8.9 million on actual tour contractors. Where'd the rest go? Honestly, from the looks of it, the rest went into the same black hole that apparently funded Massey's 4-star fugitive lifestyle. The feds suspect Massey's crew used Wayne's rum brand, Bumbu, as a money laundering front. Why? Because Bumbu's parent company, Sovereign Brands, has Panama-based accounts that even the IRS can't fully trace. Wayne's 2018 ad campaign called Bumbu the goat of rums, but now it's looking more like the goat of cover-ups. Here's where it gets spicy. Wayne isn't technically the owner of Bumbu. He's an investor and loyal brand ambassador. Translation: he gets paid to post Instagram stories with rum bottles while someone else handles the messy paperwork. Perfect setup for plausible deniability, right? The feds are reportedly tracing wire transfers from Bumbu's Barbados distillery through Panama shell companies that allegedly funded everything from Massey's escape vehicles to his girlfriend's Cash App account. When your rum brand has more offshore accounts than a Swiss bank, you're either running a very sophisticated business or a very obvious scam. Now, nothing has been set in stone but the writings on the walls for those who know what Lil Wayne has been doing. Let's rewind to 2020, when Lil Wayne decided to turn his private jet into a moving violation. The feds busted him at Miami Opa-locka Airport with a gold-plated Glock stashed in his luggage, a Father's Day gift so extra it probably came with a diamond-encrusted receipt. This wasn't just any firearm, it was a .45 caliber Flex loaded with 6 rounds of bling-bling energy. But here's the kicker. Wayne's a convicted felon. He'd already done an 8-month stint at Rikers for a 2009 G charge, and felons can't pack heat, even if it's 24 karat.
Weezy allegedly spent much of this taxpayer money to settle his various debts and to fuel his lavish lifestyle, including over $1 million spent on private jets.
Fast forward to 2024, and Wayne's back in the hot seat, this time for playing Monopoly with pandemic relief funds. $15K on flights for randos, $88K for a canceled concert, $460K on designer threads. This isn't just fraud, it's Grand Theft Auto. But the paper trail proves he didn't spend it all, and the remaining money is the key to finding Antoine. Wayne's team denied everything, claiming his finances are audited and clean. His manager even scoffed. He ain't got nothing to do with none of that ish, but the receipts don't lie. When pressed, Wayne shrugged. Any female that texts me is going to get a S comment, because nothing says innocent like deflecting fraud charges with thirst traps. Honestly, the optics are pretty bad for Lil Wayne, especially when we see what Massie was in for. Let's talk about what landed Antoine Massey behind bars in the first place, because this man's criminal resume reads like a Netflix true crime series nobody asked for. Massie wasn't just some petty thief who got caught stealing candy. This dude was facing charges for vehicle theft and domestic A involving S. Yep, you heard that right. We're talking about a man who allegedly put his hands around someone's throat, and the system thought it was smart to house him on the first floor of a jail with faulty locks.
I was the last real niggas that helped me, man. That's all I knew to come back to this bitch, man. I don't know nothing about this here, you heard me?
But here's where it gets absolutely wild. Massey's been playing this escape game since he was a 15-year-old kid. Back in 2007, he broke out of a juvenile detention facility after being arrested for armed robbery and aggravated A. How'd he do it? A malfunctioning lock gave him and 5 other juveniles the perfect opportunity to use metal shackles as makeshift hammers, smash a window, and vanish into the New Orleans night. The kid evaded capture for over 2 weeks before cops found him on an interstate in eastern New Orleans, probably planning his next great escape.
This is, you heard me? If I had to go try to take me a dip, you heard me? F them people, you heard me? I'm out here now.
Fast forward to adulthood, and Massey's still treating ankle monitors like fashion accessories he can just toss in the trash. Court documents show he's tampered with and removed court-ordered electronic monitors not once, but twice. Matt Dennis from the monitoring company couldn't believe the audacity of the authorities who placed Antoine under such lax conditions. He said, "There isn't a single aspect of this man's past that doesn't scream escape." Yet somehow the brilliant minds running Orleans Parish Jail thought, let's put this professional escape artist on the first floor where the locks are broken. What could go wrong?
There isn't an ounce of this man's history that doesn't escape.
Dennis says Massie, who's wanted for rape and kidnapping in St. Tammany, as well as domestic abuse and theft in Orleans Parish, had prior escapes dating back to 2007.
3 weeks later, Massey's still posting Instagram videos, still taunting cops, and still proving that some people view the justice system as nothing more than a game of hide and seek. The question isn't whether he'll get caught, it's how many more people will get hurt before that happens. If the feds prove Lil Wayne's been bankrolling Antoine Massey's fugitive lifestyle, it won't just be game over for his career, it'll be the start of his prison career. We're talking about aiding and abetting a violent criminal charged with R, kidnapping, and DS. This isn't some white-collar tax evasion. This is a federal conspiracy to harbor a dangerous fugitive. Wayne's already dodged bullets with firearm charges and COVID fraud allegations. But backing a serial escape artist who threatens to shank jail workers? That's a one-way ticket to Angola State Penitentiary, where his only audience will be his fellow inmates, and his platinum plaques will become toilet paper. So what do you think? Is Lil Wayne about to trade his mansion for a cell block? Or is this just another case of guilt by association? Did Antoine Massey play Wayne like a fiddle? Or has Weezy been pulling strings from his Miami penthouse this whole time?